Welcome back. Entertainment purposes only. Let's take a little dive down the rabbit hole.
Execute Order 66.
Books at all, but rather the Marvel Cinematic Universe only. And with that being said, let's begin. The Winter Soldier program was devised by the Swiss-born Hydra scientist Arnim Zola and begun when the 107th Infantry Regiment of the U.S. Army was captured. During their capture, Zola took one candidate to begin his experiments, James Buchanan Barnes, who Zola injected with his own version of the super soldier serum, originally created by Abraham Erskine. However, the program was short-lived as Barnes was rescued by his childhood best friend, Steve Rogers, who is now going as Captain America. The Winter Soldier program was then put on ice until Barnes tragically fell while acting as a part of a Howling Commandos mission during the Second World War. While it seemed that there was no possible way for
My bad. So, for a little side note, I was looking into the Marvel Universe, and because I was on my searching for black superheroes to tell my people like, yo bro, stop asking for the creation of new heroes and like certain heroes that are already there. You know, ask for those characters to be promoted more. So, let me see if I can find it.
In this video, I'm going to be covering Isaiah Bradley. He made his first appearance in Truth, Red, White, and Black, issue number 1, that was released in January of 2003. He's also known as the original Black Captain America, standing 6 feet 4 inches 1, that was released in January of 2003. He's also known as the original Black Captain America, standing 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing 260 pounds, having brown eyes and originally black hair, but now he's bald. Now, Isaiah gained remarkable...
So the first Captain America is black, and the second Captain America is white, and the second Captain America gets his powers through a needle. He's a regular guy. The first black Captain America
abilities due to him being exposed to a subsequent version of the super soldier serum. And although he didn't exhibit quite superhuman abilities, he did have peak human abilities. Being extremely strong, able to lift 800 pounds over his head, as well as being extremely agile and fast, being able to run up to 30 miles per hour for long periods of time, due to also having increased stamina.
This is what this is a comic. This is what they're saying. So, by their own calculations, before Captain America, you know, they experimented on him.
Isaiah also has enhanced senses and durability, being able to easily survive falls from a couple of stories, as well as being able to handle some hits from superhuman foes. The serum also slowed his aging, thus increasing his lifespan, as well as giving him a low-level healing factor, showing the ability to heal broken bones, muscles, knife wounds, and even some gunshots within a couple of days. While carrying out missions, Isaiah toted his own personalized double V shield.
Oh, he had the double V shield, huh? V for Valor, baby.
Also donning a loose chainmail uniform that would help deflect most small caliber fire. The only weaknesses that Isaiah exhibited would develop later on in his life. The imperfect version of the super soldier serum that he used made his mind deteriorate over the years, and this same serum would eventually leave him completely reproductively sterile. Now, Mr. Isaiah Bradley was a native of New York City.
That's all we need for now on that.
Acting as a part of a Howling Commandos mission during the Second World War. While it seemed that there was no possible way for Barnes to survive that fall, he did due to the super soldier serum he received years earlier. The soldier was then found, broken and bloody, his left arm damaged beyond repair. He was then sent to Arnim Zola, who continued his experimentation. With Bucky's arm missing, Zola fitted him with a metal prosthetic that far exceeded his super soldier enhanced strength.
Batman mind just kicked in. In Star Wars, Darth Vader became Darth Vader after he lost his hand too. Luke Skywalker almost became a Dark Jedi after he lost his hand too. And it's not about the symbolism of losing your hand. No, what happens after they lose their hand? My father made a prophecy on that. He said one day the iron will mix with the clay. If you don't know what that means, man's gonna attach metal to and they're gonna be man metal. Get it? Metal men. That's what that meant.
However, Bucky was not just given upgrades to his broken body. His mind had to be broken as well before he could serve Hydra. Zola implemented regular sessions of electroconvulsive treatments which scrambled his brain, making him more susceptible to reprogramming. Through these treatments, they were able to erase decades of memories, and in the case that Barnes would ever remember who he was or become non-compliant, they created a series of code words meant to be a fail-safe should something go wrong. These words were harmless alone, but when strung together in the proper sequence, they would completely reset the Winter Soldier's mind to a more acquiescent state. The codes used by Winter Soldier's handlers were Longing, Rusted, 17, Daybreak. Soldier likely has some de-aging and regeneration abilities due to his super soldier injections. Hydra decided it was not necessary to have the Winter Soldier active at all times. After all, he was the most dangerous assassin alive, and keeping him under lock and key would ensure he could not turn on Hydra or be captured by their enemies. So decades pass, and the Winter Soldier performed his duties to perfection, becoming a legend and spoken about in hushed voices, a ghost story, a perfect assassin. Until 1991, when Vasily Karpov, the head of the Winter Soldier program at that time, thought out the assassin for another important mission. Hydra had discovered that Howard Stark had recreated the super soldier serum and sent the Winter Soldier to assassinate Stark and recover the serum.
My father was a 49-year-old Montreal businessman who was successful and dynamic and whose life was destroyed by a series of treatments.
While brainstorming new ideas for the channel and researching, I found a tab in my YouTube studio that recommended some of these topics. However, I've never done the research to find out what they meant or how it actually worked. Because if you really think about it, mind controlling sounds like a work of fiction. Something that would appear maybe in a cartoon for a kid show, or a movie, or maybe a fake magician trying to trick people. Because real mind control can't actually happen. Right?
He went in one winter evening and was put to sleep for approximately 2 months. He was given shock treatments of various kinds, gradually building intensity to an intensity and a frequency that was not certainly the routine or standard at the time.
Well, before diving into the MKUltra project, we need to look at a drug created in 1938 by Albert Hofmann, a Swiss chemist who created lysergic acid diethylamide, also known as LSD, which was a strong psychedelic drug which caused the user to have intensified thoughts, emotions, and sensory perception. If given at higher doses, LSD would cause the user to manifest primarily mental, visual, and auditory hallucinations. The director of the MK Ultra project saw this as an opportunity for mind control, and in the early 1950s, the US would buy the entire supply of LSD. Sidney Gottlieb, the director of the MK Ultra, would begin to pass the LSD medications unknowingly to prisoners, hospitals, institutions, clinics, and other foundations in order to see how regular people would react to the drug without their knowledge.
Okay.
Now, one of the reasons that the CIA did this was because they wanted to know if they could break Soviet spies and make them defect against their country. However, there were fears that if it worked on the Soviets, then this could also be used against the United States. And so the CIA would attempt to purchase more LSD to avoid other countries getting their hands on it. By the time the project began to take real shape in 1953, the man to push the boundaries was named Alan Dulles, the newly appointed director of the CIA, who stated in his inaugural speech the following: "In the past few years, we have become accustomed to hearing much about the battle for men's minds, the war of ideologies. I wonder, however, whether we clearly perceive the magnitude of the problem, whether we realize how sinister the battle for men's mind has become in Soviet hands. We might call it, in its new form, brain warfare." With Alan Dulles ready to fight against Soviet brainwashing, he began to give LSD in a more controlled form to mental patients, prisoners, drug addicts, and prostitutes. And years later, one agency officer said that it was given to people who couldn't fight back. One of the more extreme cases of LSD was given to a mental patient from Kentucky who was given LSD for 174 days straight. Now,
Damn.
Project MK Ultra was so unhinged that it eventually made its way into everyday citizens, as it was given to CIA employees, military personnel, doctors, and other government agents, and members of the general public to study their reactions. The aim was to find drugs that would bring out deep confessions or wipe a subject's mind clean and reprogram them as a robot agent. The 50s was objected to this are now
So, that's a disturbing, you know, because now it's just a drug, you know, it's a fucking street thing, it's regular, you know, and as a person that doesn't understand world affairs widely, you know, but understands certain things. When I hear people trying to prepare for something that can be so devastating, you know, this is where decisions got to be made. And this is where I believe my father should always be thrown in the picture. Because I understand the fear of, oh shit, this shit could happen to her. You get it? But if the Lord is real, I like to throw that in there every now and again, because I know He is. Then when you do these things, right? And the brain is the thing that allows this body to do what it does. There's a difference between convincing me and making me. You get it? Convincing me means Daddy gets mad at me. Making me means Daddy only gonna get mad at you, because you're directly taking free will. The brain, you know, the person doesn't. So I would think in my mind, I could be wrong, that that's not, that has very that could have bad repercussions, you know. as I watched that Winter Soldier video, and he said certain things about the programming and all that goofy, it reminded me of another video game, Call of Duty. That's what brings this video. This guy's using a true story. It's called The True Story That Was Inspired by Black Ops 1 MK Ultra. Because most people from this younger generation and my generation learned of that word, the MK Ultra shit, either from YouTube online shit, but it got so popular they put it in the game, you know? So for people that play games and shit, they were, it's gonna make people look things up. Curiosity is everyone has it. And I guess that's what inspires people to make these type of videos.
Seeking reparations. However, the severity of the LSD experiments went so much deeper, as it was revealed that the drug was given to over 30 institutions and universities, where unknowing citizens at all social levels, high and low, Native Americans and foreign, would be affected. Some of the 30 institutions and universities where unknowing citizens at all social levels, high and low, Native Americans and foreign, would be affected. Some of the effects of LSD at the time would be described by James Whitey Bulger, who was an organized crime boss for the Winter Hill Gang who was serving time in a prison, and during this he would be injected with LSD and monitored to see how it would affect him. Whitey went on to say that he began to suffer from total loss of appetite, hallucinating, the room would change shape, hours of paranoia, and feeling violent. He said that they experienced horrible periods of living nightmares and even blood coming out of the walls, guys turning into skeleton in front of him, and he even saw a camera change into the head of a dog. He felt like he was going insane. Now, if you're asking what fueled all of this, like we mentioned earlier, it was the fear that the Soviets were doing it already, and that the United States would be overrun if they didn't find a way to brainwash first. It was like an arms race, but with the mind. The CIA and those in charge knew exactly what they were doing. As CIA Inspector General stated in 1957, precautions must be taken not only to protect operations from exposure to enemy forces, but also to conceal these activities from the American public in general. The knowledge that the agency is engaging in unethical and illicit activities would have serious repercussions in political and diplomatic circles and would be detrimental to the accomplishment of its mission.
But may I say this, and I do it with all solemnity. At no time has the CIA engaged in any political activity or any intelligence activity that was not approved at the highest level.
The severity of this drug allegedly led to deaths as well, as one Army chemist was given the drug unknowingly, which again allegedly caused him depression and a panic state. 9 days after being given the drug, he would jump out of a hotel room and plummet to his death.
He was given a whole slew of drugs, including amphetamines, likely PCP, insulin comas, barbiturates of all kinds, LSD. He was then forced to listen to recorded messages.
Eventually, by 1962, researchers of the MK Ultra branded the drug too unpredictable, and they were more so disillusioned with it. However, they sought to continue experimenting. But by 1963, alright, let me interrupt this broadcast for a quick information or update from Brian Wolf. I'm looking up John Vance, who was the guy who found out about the Ultra MK project. And as I'm looking for information on him, I arrive on a page that says Central Intelligence Agency, 404 error. This page you requested doesn't exist. I just wanted to let you guys know that that's my ass. And I'm done. I'm done. This seems scary. All right, that's all. I just wanted to let you guys know in case something happens to me. John Vance, a member of the CIA Inspector General staff, would become aware of Project MK Ultra and its unethical ways. This would lead to the demise of the MK Ultra project as a whole. The thing is that there's still so many secrets left unknown of the real tragedies that the MK Ultra caused, and those who were really responsible may have gotten away with it, due to the fact that in 1973, when questions were being asked about the project, all traces were seemingly destroyed on orders of the MK Ultra project director. Now, after all this, I'd like to say that according to the research I did, in terms of storytelling, Black Ops 1 was heavily inspired by the 1962 film The Manchurian Candidate, who follows three men near the end of the Korean War, and one of these men is mirrored heavily by Alex Mason. Now, I have yet to see the film, but if I have time this weekend would be a great opportunity. I wanted to recommend it to you for those who didn't know and wanted to see where the story of Black Ops 1 came from, or at least was inspired from. All in all, the MK Ultra project was incredibly disturbing, and I only
Now, I never knew that, but like I always say, one thing is inspired from another, you know? Games are inspired from stories, and stories are in books, and books came from stories, and blah, 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 blah. You know? And the things that some people don't know, because, like I said, they're making games out of this shit now, so I don't know how people don't know certain things. And to me, a lot of this shit is just men doing what men do, you know? Being afraid. And instead of trying to figure out how to fight against something, you know what I mean? In a more, I don't know, because I don't even know how the fuck you would fight against something like that. I don't make these videos to say anybody's whatever. I make these videos because I like to see the result. I've always studied the results of things, you know, because I'm just a person, regular person, and everything that everyone does in this world affects me in some way. So what I like to do is know what the effects of things are, so I can, you know, be safe. And this is not about more of what's going on, because all these things are released to the public. This is more for my viewers to see why I say stay the fuck away from drugs. Like, if you can stop, stop. A lot of things people don't know the results of long-term effects, you know, like things change, you know. That's the one thing I learned about being alive. When you learn about very limited things of shit is getting so crazy. I've done seen so many different stories of people just losing it. So be safe out there. Don't don't engage with every petty fight. Some people are not seeing things straight. Now on to this next little bit. Have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy? Very comedic movie. Made me was watching something familiar in real life that as soon as I seen it made me think of this movie.
Now, I understand everyone's shit's emotional right now. But listen up. I got a 3-point plan to fix everything. Number one, we got this guy not sure. Number two, he got a higher IQ than any man alive. And number three, he's gonna fix everything. I give you my word as president. He'll fix the problems with all the dead crap. He's gonna make them grow again. And that ain't all. I give you my word. He's gonna fix the dust storms too. I give you my word. He's gonna fix it. He's so smart. He's gonna do it all in one week.
President Camacho stood before the world and promised everyone that Joe would solve all their problems. He would not.
So that was one of Terry Cruz's, I guess, big movies. It was kind of big. And it was just very hilarious to see him play as a wrestler that fucking in the future became the president.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Well, let me tell you something, brother. You know something? When I came here tonight, there was so much energy in this room. I felt maybe I was in Madison Square Garden getting ready to win another world title. Or maybe I thought... And at the end of the day, with our leader up there, my hero, that gladiator, we're gonna bring America back together. One real American at a time, brother.
And I said, really? We're in that movie now? Like, it's really strange how many things are in fiction and in real life. They say art mimics real life or life mimics real, you know? Whatever they say, how that saying goes. I'm just a regular guy, but noticing these things now is very, it's like, what the fuck? You know? It's very strange.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Why are you here?
Let me put it very simply, Vince. I'm taller than you. I'm better looking than you. I think I'm stronger than you. And I'm here to challenge you to a match in WrestleMania. It's the battle of the billionaire. That's right.
Okay. I mean, you know, all love and all praise to the Most High. sometimes I ask myself, is it worth it even trying to become somebody? Nah, I like the bottom. Yeah. I mean, it's all the same, right? Seems like it's all the same.